We're going to talk about, with the 100-ton cube jack, a few topics here. What's the value in this product? Go over some features and benefits. Dive into some details of the product, the different components, documentation that we have available in terms of how to help you specify and sell the product. And then, at the end here, we've got a demonstration set up to kind of show this jack in operation. So the value proposition behind the cube jack is a safe and easy multi-point lifting and lowering up to 3 meters. So we'll go through what that means in some detail here. The self-locking cube jack, it gives you a much more efficient alternative to what we call jack and pack or climbing jacks that traditionally use wood and cribbing. It works very similar to our jack-up system, if any of you out there are familiar with that, but it doesn't require all the electrical controls behind that. It's much simpler to operate. It's got a much smaller footprint than what you're probably used to in terms of a jack and pack setup, and it's going to give you a more stable lift all the way up to just under 10 feet, 118 inches, about 3 meters. Where you don't have a lot of space to move. So it puts this product really firmly within reach of just about any heavy lifting contractor who's looking to enhance safety, performance, and reliability. So we'll walk through some of the major components here. It really has 3 primary components. It's a base unit with an insert table. Going to see if I can do something for you guys here. Insert table is right here. Comes with a certain number of steel cribbing blocks. The 50-ton comes with 11 of these cribbing blocks. The 100-ton comes with 18, so they can go to a higher lifting point. And an end block up at the top that contacts the load and has an adjustable tilt saddle integrated into it. So the big key safety feature here is that your load and your system is mechanically locked at all times during lifting and lowering operations. So we'll demonstrate in a little bit how that works. And we have 2 models available. The 50-ton, which was launched about 9 months ago, and has been very successful in the market, and we've gotten a lot of demand and requests for the 100-ton version, which is what we're launching today. As I mentioned before, mechanically locked during lifting and lowering operations. This is very important. If you think about a traditional method of jacking a structure using wood and cribbing, the operator puts themselves at risk by putting their hand or other parts of their body underneath a live load that's held on the hydraulics in order to install that cribbing. So that's no longer an issue with this product. The cribbing blocks are self-aligning. They save a lot of time in terms of having to set them up and actually give you calculated and engineered side load resistance of 1.5% at full height. The end block has got about a 2-inch or 50-millimeter extension adjustment. So that allows you to start out the lift at an even position and reducing the amount of cribbing and shimming that you have to do to bring the jack up to the bottom of the load. And as all of our heavy lifting products, they're supplied with load test certificates, which really doesn't happen when you're dealing with wood cribbing. Pointer disappeared. Simplified operation, it's roughly 50% less cycles. We've got a YouTube video here that I'm going to play. I'm not sure if the sound comes through or not, but we'll give it a shot here, and you can see a comparison between, this was done in our yard in the Netherlands, a team of people using the cube jacks on the left-hand side and then using a traditional wood cribbing method on the right-hand side. I apologize if the sound doesn't come through.
Hey, Tom, if you scroll up to the top of your screen, there's actually where it says presenting, there's a small box that says system audio in there. If you click that, it'll come through. If not, I don't think it's a big deal.
Yeah. Our video freeze up here. Looks like it froze up on me, guys. Sorry about the technology. The video going again, Tim?
Yeah, video is going and no sound. I think we're good without sound.
Yeah. So what you see on the left, obviously things are sped up, but we completed the same lift using 2 people in about 11 minutes. Film on the right is 4 people using wood cribbing. Took them about 40 minutes, which is about, results in about 800% improvement. So safer lifting and lowering. This is highlighting the 50-ton up to 2 meters. Markets that we've had success in, certainly with the 50-ton and expecting success with the 100-ton. Heavy transport, unloading vehicles, within power gen, transformer jacking on and off of transport vehicles. Mining, definitely doing equipment maintenance. We've used our jack-up system in a lot of those situations, and this is a more compact and smaller version of that. Oil and gas, jacking modules. Construction, doing bridge work, bridge replacement, and decommissioning as well, and shipbuilding, moving components around, getting them into place during assembly in a shipyard. So here's some of the details behind it. We'll show this live in a few minutes here. An adjustable tilt saddle up at the top. Remember, we can get 2 inches of adjustment out of that. The end block is what houses that adjustment and is what supports the load. These steel curving blocks, we show 3 in here. Again, to get to full height, you're either using 11 or 18 to get to the full height of either the 50 or the 100. There's an indicator here on the side that shows whether or not these mechanical locks are engaged. That's an important safety feature and something just to confirm that everything is operating correctly. This insert tray, it removes during transport. It sits in place, but this is where you can have your next cribbing block waiting to be installed. Obviously, the base frame does the heavy work here and gives you some good ground bearing pressure, spreading the load out. Lifting eyes for moving it around overhead, and pallet truck lift points on the bottom to move it around with a pallet jack. Hydraulic connections in place. Relief valve to conform with ASME B30.1. And then a selector level for whether we're performing a lift or we're lowering a load. And we'll demonstrate that here in the demonstration in a few minutes as well. So all of the models include what you see here. They include obviously the base hydraulic unit, the insert table, which folds down for transport and storage, the end block we've talked about with the adjustable tilt saddle, and all of that comes in a storage frame that houses up to either 11 blocks for the 50-ton or 18 blocks for the 100-ton. And those number of blocks get you to your full lifting height, full capacity of the jack. As I mentioned before, we load test all of our units. Their cube jacks are tested under witness of Lloyd's Register. They come and witness a test and sign off that with a third-party witness stamp. Factory acceptance testing includes static overload and functional load testing. And as always, anyone who purchases a set of these, you're invited to our factory in the Netherlands to take a look at this, to witness the FAT on this product and on any product that you purchase from Enerpac. We've got an animation here that will start up as well. And again, maybe we'll have sound, maybe we won't. I don't hear anything, so I may talk over it a little bit to walk you through it. This animation showcases the 50-ton jack. The 100-ton is just a larger version of that, larger footprint, larger capacity. You can see it's moved in and out with a pallet jack, so that's helpful in plant operations, not having to rely on a fork truck or an overhead crane. The insert table folds up and locks into place very simply. You start out doing a lift. There's a mode selector valve that gets switched to lifting mode. So that controls the hydraulic circuit that's inside the cube jack that operates the lock mechanism. So as you can see, we lift, we raise up each cribbing block, install the next one, and continue incrementally lifting the load until we get to the height that's desired. The cribbing blocks on the 50-ton weigh only about 30 pounds, so they're definitely able to move around with one person. The 100-ton jack, they weigh just about 50 pounds. So if only lifts were this easy, we show lifting this large transformer using the cube jack in this animation. Does take a little bit longer than what you see here, but the concept is the same. Now for lowering mode, again, switching that mode selector handle, that changes the some of the valving in the hydraulic circuit. That's kind of under the hood here. That controls when the locks open and close. And we'll see that here in a few minutes in the live demo. So from a kind of completing the system, we recommend using our split flow pumps with the handheld remote control. You still need to be concerned about equal and even lifting when you're lifting a load. So the split flow pump is an economical way to do that. If you're operating more than 8, or if you're looking for higher accuracy, these can also be operated with our Evo series synchronous lift systems. But honestly, it's compatible with any standard Enerpac 10,000 PSI pump, hoses, and accessories as well. Where does this fit in our product line? So on the left-hand side, we've got our stage lift cylinders. We've had around for quite a while. These allow the use of individual wood cribbing to lift a load. Available anywhere from 50 to 200 tons per lift point. But again, that's a manual operation of installing cribbing. And it's been used for a long time, and it's a very economical solution. But the cube jack is the next step up. On the right-hand side, I've referred to our jack-up system. If you're not familiar with that, that is a fully automated system. It works on a very similar concept of these steel barrels, as we call them. They're mechanically locked in a similar manner as the load is lifted, but it comes with a synchronized lift system, electronically controlled, gets you to much higher capacities per point, and much higher lifting height, all the way up to 30 meters with the largest system. So in the middle is the cube jack. Still has the efficiency and the safety with the mechanical locking that you see on the jack-up system. Steel cribbing blocks as opposed to wooden cribbing. Gets you to a very good height, 3 meters on the 100-ton, and is much simpler to use, and again, a much more economical solution compared to the jack-up system if you don't need that kind of height, accuracy, or capacity. documentation that's available for you. This is now live on our website, so you'll be able to find technical brochures, drawings. Your Enerpac territory managers are equipped with lots of tools to help you specify the equipment, make sure you're getting the right product for your application, along with anyone in our internal support group and our tech service group as well. There we go. So we're going to start the live demonstration. All right. How does that look? Can everybody see our setup here, Tim?
Hey, Tom, I can see it.
Okay.
Crystal clear. Yeah, it looks good.
It's good. Let me. I'll walk over, and we'll start going through the demonstration. And just to make sure everybody can hear me okay, Tim, everything sound good?
Yeah, everything sounds great. Good volume too.
Okay, thank you. So as I mentioned, I'm going to go through some of the main features here. The first thing is this insert tray. So it comes just resting on the jack, fitted in on these keyholes over these screws, and slides into place that way. The end block here, as I mentioned, this is always the top block that stays in contact with the load. The tilt saddle is adjustable. You spin it up, and you've got about 2 inches of adjustment here to make sure that when you start a lift, your jacks start out all fully in contact, even if the lift points are at slightly different heights, or the jacking position is a little bit off. Cribbing blocks, as I mentioned, are lightweight on the 50-ton. They're about 32 pounds, I think. The 100-ton, they are about 50 pounds, but they're still able to be moved by one person. You've got on this side as well, we've got indicators for the mechanical locks. So you can see a little indicator, and this will move as this lock piece slides in and out. When it's on the green, that means that it's locked. When it's on red, that means that it's unlocked. We've got our pallet jack lifting points here. So on the 50-ton, standard pallet jack. On the 100-ton, they are a little bit wider, but they do fit industry standard pallet jacks, and lifting eyes on both sides for lifting from above. Hydraulic connections are your standard Enerpac CR400 couplers. We're operating this today with one of our e-pulse pumps, but you can, again, when you're doing a multi-point lift, best practice is to use like our split flow pump or something so that you're monitoring each lift point and maintaining a nice even lift. This mode selector valve, I've got it in lifting mode right now. When we go through the demonstration, we'll move it down to lowering mode, and there's a locking pin that holds it in place here. So with that, I'm just going to describe a little bit about what's going to happen, what you're going to see. As we operate it, you operate it just like any other hydraulic pump. We want to raise the load. The jack is going to extend. As it comes up, these blocks are tapered, and they're going to push the locks open. They're spring-loaded. So when we're lifting, we're going to go past those locks. As we get past that and we get up above them, they're going to snap back into place and allow us to secure our load. We'll then retract the jack. We'll retract it all the way down, load in another cribbing block underneath it, and bring the load up a little bit more. So bringing the load up, this is using, again, one of our e-pulse pumps. So lifting speed is what it is with this size pump. You can see the locks are going to snap out of the way, and they're going to snap back into place. So we've got our load lifted. We're now going to retract the jack. Once the jack retracts all the way, we'll be able to put another curving block in, and we'll do this a few times to make sure that everybody gets it. One thing that's important to note is that there are alignment pins on the top of the curving block and slots on the bottom. So it's important to make sure that they line up properly. While that's lifting up, I can put another block in place, get it ready. My locks are now open as I'm pushing past them. Spring back again. The curving blocks are mechanically locked in place. So you can see I've already gone up. These are about 5 inches apiece. So it's already come up 15 inches just in that time that you've been watching. We'll load this one last one. We're not going to load all 11 just for time's sake. I think you get the picture. So now if we want to switch to lowering mode, I'll turn the pump off. Come over here. And all that this valve does is it just adjusts how the hydraulic circuit inside under the hood works and allows the lock mechanism to open at the right time when we're lowering. So when we're lowering, certainly the first thing we've got to do is we've got to pick the load up a little bit to let those locks move out of the way. So I'm going to pick the load up. I already had it up. That hydraulic circuit has opened up those locks. Now I can lower it. Once that first curving block has cleared the locks, it's going to snap back into place. So that even if we had anything happen on our hydraulic circuit, we would have that mechanical lock in place as we come down. I go back up with the jack to pick up the load again and continue this cycle until the load is all the way on the ground. Lock 3 engaged. Again, making sure that we're always in a safe lifting mode here. And then finally, we'll go up, we'll get that end block. The load may still be at this height, depending on where you started. If you started all the way down at the bottom, functions the same way. It'll get picked up, blocks will open, and we'll lower it down. And that's it.